The fact that not all browsers have a built-in date picker for a date data type is easily handled. If we want to use a bit of Bootstrap, it makes it very, very easy for us. And since we have Bootstrap here already, if I go under Tools, down to Nougat Package Manager, I could just do an install package, but I just want to show you Manage Nougat Packages for Solution, right? So I can browse, you can look for Date Picker, and then there's various ones. So I'm looking for this Bootstrap DatePicker, right? I don't want a date time picker, I just want the date picker. And there's a couple other versions, this globalized one, but this is probably the safest one to go with here. Stefan, I remember his name. That's how I remember that it's the one that I want. So I'll just check off, this is the one and only project, I want to install it. And as I do so, basically what I'm getting is some CSS and JavaScript to help support it. Not everything is included in the Nougat package. We have to do a little bit of work on our own, but that's finished. Okay, so I have mainly the CSS there and so on, right? So what do I have to do? Well, it's a little bit of work for me because, you know, it's up to you, but you may not always want to use the Bootstrap one. If browsers already have their own built-in one, why fight it, right? Why overcome theirs and try to supply your own? So typically what we'll do is we'll add in a JavaScript file, so I'll right-click scripts and I'll add a JavaScript file, and typically called something like this. Okay, this is right out of the tutorial. There's a link to it in the Nougat package itself. Date script ready. Okay, and typically what's done is we have this great, in Bootstrap, or actually in Visual Studio, this modernizer JavaScript library. And what it does is it checks for HTML5 capabilities, right? So if it's not true that the modernizer can see that there's support for the input type for date built into the browser that you're using, then we're going to supply our own function. A function look for anything with the class date control, okay, in the CSS class, and provide the date picker that we just added the code for, right? This format, by the way, is just to help deal with the fact that we need in most of our models to set the format to year, month, day so that the Chrome issue is handled, right? That dates in this format show properly when bound to a text type input where the type is date in Chrome. Okay, so that's good. So we have that ready. So just on pages that need it, we'll have to render this little bit of script as well. So I'll just close that. Again, if you just want to do it everywhere, then you don't have to worry about the modernizer, right? So then all we have to do to use it is two things, right? We have to bundle that little script. We could do that, right, if you have a lot of date pickers you need throughout your whole application, then you might want to come into App Start and Bundles, okay? And you could just bundle it right in here with the other JavaScript and so on, right? We have to put some in here anyway, just for the built-in stuff that we added from the Nougat package, okay? So I'll add in the script bundle for Bootstrap. Oh. Okay, Bootstrap DatePicker, okay, and then in the CSS I need some CSS to support it as well. Okay, there we go. So that gives me the ability to use the built-in date picker in Bootstrap and so on. Now, it's my choice. If I have a lot of places, then I might as well include my date picker ready script here as well. It's totally up to you. It's not something that, you know, I would do if you only need it in one place, okay? But if you need it regularly throughout your system, you might as well just include it in the bundle. That way it gets minimized and included automatically. So I'll do it that way for now, at least. Okay, so now I've bundled in the Bootstrap DatePicker that I got from the Nougat package and its CSS, as well as my own script. Okay, so what my script does then will come in handy as I go to the individual views, right? So if I come down here to views, so I really, in my situation, I only have two, right? I have my patients. They're the only ones that actually have a date. Okay, so it's really just the edit and create. So all I have to do is come down to these, find the date of birth, okay, and add into the class, besides form control, I'm just going to add date control, right? Do that in both edit and create. And there we go. So that should work. Now, I better choose Internet Explorer, otherwise it'll use the default ones anyway. Bad request. Of course, I had edit without specifying who I was going to edit. Okay. So here we are. So if I go in and edit a patient, right, coming to the date, there is my Bootstrap one. So that's something I wouldn't have had, okay, until now. Now, of course, if I bring up the exact same page in, say, Firefox or Chrome, okay, we know that we're going to get here, this is the standard Chrome HTML5 DatePicker, right? Looks a little different, okay, from the Bootstrap one, but you know, they both give equivalent functionality in the end, right? You can click on months, you can click on years, go through back and forth. So, you know, it's up to you. As I said, there are not too many browsers out there that don't have a built-in HTML5 compatible DatePicker, but still, much of the world is using older versions of Internet Explorer, or even Firefox. Older versions of Firefox don't have a DatePicker. So this way you can consistently get a DatePicker in all your situations. All right. Finally, just to point out, if you're not going to use this a lot, then why bundle it in so that every page gets this DatePicker ready? We can just leave it out, and if there's only a couple pages in your whole application, then you can just come down here and do scripts.render, okay, same place as you're rendering others, and just say scripts / the name of your JavaScript file, and that will include it just on the one page, right? So for now, I've taken it out of the bundle. I have it on edit, but I don't have it on create, right? Just so you see that it works on the edit view and not on the create, okay? So let me just run this one last time. So using Internet Explorer as our test subject that does not have a built-in DatePicker, you see I don't have DatePicker showing up on the create view because I took it out of the bundle, but if I go into edit, then I do, right? So it's easy, it's your choice. If you want to bundle it and have it available everywhere, okay, then you don't have to forget it, think about it, you can do so. But if there's only a few pages that require it, all you have to do is just scripts.render and add your script just to that one page. Easy as that. Last thing I should maybe have mentioned is you notice that we're using inside of these pages in the class, right? We added a class for date control. Sorry, let me get back up to date of birth, right? We added this to the class for the control itself, and that relates to how we wrote our little JavaScript file. Let me just find it again here. My DatePicker ready. DD, there we are, right? We're looking for dot, so a class called date control. That gives us the ability to manually put it in some and not others, right? Instead, you could, instead of doing a class like this, you could do a Jquery Selector that would find all controls that have the data type set to date, right? And the advantage of that would be that, you know, you don't have to manually go in, okay? So that's your choice. If you want to do your Jquery Selector that way instead, you don't have to manually go in and find all the date controls and add this class to them. On the other hand, by manually setting this class into the ones you want to use your your Bootstrap Jquery DatePicker, you could instead change your model classes. So instead of in the model, say for patient here, right now we have this annotation on the date of birth, right? Say the data type is date. If we set it to text, then none of the built-in HTML5 DatePickers would pick it up, and we could have them all use our own that we're supplying. And that might give a greater consistency across browsers. The DatePicker doesn't look different. It's not browser specific. You're using yours in any browser in every browser. So it's up to you, however you want to set it up. All kinds of choices. Don't you love choices? Sometimes we hate it when we have too many choices. But anyway, that's enough. I'm going to shut up for today.